You are listening to the Outlaw Podcast with me, your host, Andrea Hall. I am a certified equine gestalt coach, speaker, 3-time author, and lawyer. I help women lawyers who are miserable in their career, struggling with mental and emotional health issues, wanting to have fun in their lives, and struggling to be selfish. After fulfilling my dream of being a criminal defense attorney and opening my own law practice right out of law school, I thought I had it all. While at the height of my career, my 18-month-old puppy died, and I thought, what am I killing myself for? Sometime later, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and my world turned upside down. It was in that moment I realized something had to change. This podcast is about sharing my journey with you about what is possible in your life outside the legal profession, stopping the adulting and being able to play as a child, inspiring you to dream again. Let the journey begin. Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Outlaw. I'm your host, Andrea Hall. How easily it is to forget unless it pertains to you. I'm sharing my journey about 9/11. And actually for me, I was shocked that it had already been 18 years. And I will never forget, I was standing in law school. I was about ready to go to my first hour, which was civil procedure. And I remember coming through the library after I had left my desk, and I was walking past the TVs, and I said, oh my gosh, is that a joke? And I even looked at the person who was standing at the front desk and I said, is this a joke? Did some planes just actually really fly into the Twin Towers in New York? And they kind of looked at me and we stared at the TV for a little while longer, and I thought, this has to be a joke. And I remember getting to class, and the dean actually of the law school was my professor for civics class. And he walked in pale. And I thought, oh my gosh, did somebody just die? And sure enough, he said, the United States is under attack. And I thought to myself, this has to be a joke, right? Like, I remember growing up and people saying to me, like, I remember where I was when Kennedy was shot. And I remember where I was when President Reagan was shot. And this was the first time in my life that I had actually ever experienced something so tragic in our country. I had experienced tragedy prior to that. My father passed away when I was 17. And, you never forget where you are, things that you had on, smells of things when something tragic happens to you. And unfortunately, so many times when it doesn't pertain to other people, it's easily forgotten. And I think in our society, we easily forget a couple days after 9/11. Potentially by 9/13, we've forgotten what happened on 9/11 and how our country was under attack and what that stood for, and what liberties we have now sacrificed as a result of our country being under attack. And there are so many other things in life that are relatable to this, that we can compare this situation to, that other people maybe are not as necessarily able to relate to, yet you are, and that you never forget. There's been some real defining moments in my life that I will never forget. I will never forget the look on people's faces. I will never forget the experience. One of those was the first time my client was put in prison for the rest of their life at 25 years old. Like I stated earlier, my father passing away when I was 17 years old. The words, "You have a brain tumor," which is coming up on my anniversary on the 16th of September. Like, I will never forget those defining moments in my life. And there's obviously good ones as well. You know, getting notified that I passed the bar, getting engaged, getting married, my nephew being born, things of that nature that are also happy. Yet again, those are all experiences that you potentially have that no one else maybe remembers because it wasn't necessarily a defining moment for them. And unfortunately, this is something that has been very tragic, 9/11, and then a very defining moment in how our history has been defined, what has changed with our constitutional rights, the rights we've given up, the things we're willing to sacrifice for the safety of ourselves and other individuals in this country. And there are so many things that happen in our life that create this defining moment that either can make us into a greater person or really cause tragedy in our life. And so I know that there are experiences that you have had, and I would love to hear about those. And just drop me a line and share some of those defining moments with me that have caused you to take a step back, whether they be good or bad, and share with me what those are. I would love to be able to support you moving forward and creating positive out of those defining moments. So if this is something that resonates with you, drop me a line here and let's chat further. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Outlaw. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Outlaw. There is life after litigation. If anything I said in this episode resonates with you, call for a free exploratory session to see how I can help you. My horses will give you instantaneous feedback, unlike traditional talk therapy. You will shift your awareness into real time with the help of a horse. The horses are like lie detectors, flushing out limiting beliefs with a swish of their tail, a shift of their 1,200-pound body, or a simple unwillingness to move. Horses have a way of seeing into the window of our souls. Horses have been connected to humanity since the dawn of time. Their hearts can heal and mend our broken hearts. Simply standing in their presence can change our lives forever, putting the puzzle pieces back together and returning us to wholeness. Horses are restoring the parts of us that have been missing. You can call us at 970-682-4405 to set up your appointment today. Want to be inspired daily? See about our latest events or purchase a copy of my books? Go to our website at www.witherswhisper.com. That's www.witherswhisper.com. Or you can follow us on any social media venue at Withers Whisper. Until the next episode, listen to the whispers.